All right, welcome back everybody to another Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. It is Monday, June 27th. We are almost out of July. Man, that went fast, and it has been hot, and it's only going to get hotter, so how exciting is that? But, guys, I've got a new guest here with me. I'm very excited to have her. She has not made it on this show before, and she brings a lot of personality, so I'm excited to have her. If you wouldn't mind, young lady, please introduce yourself and tell them who you're here with.
Well, my name is Jayme Dolan, and I am here to promote my nonprofit Golden Groove.
Well, I am brand new to hearing about Golden Groove, and I appreciate you reaching out. And so tell me all about what Golden Groove, cool name, tell me all about it and let me know what we got going on here.
Well, Golden Groove, I want to tell you about the name first because that pretty much says what our organization is about. So golden, of course, like your golden years, and groove is we are trying to help seniors get their groove back.
There you go. Those flow together really well there. What if you never had your groove to begin with? Just curious, because I have like no rhythm, any of those things. So I don't know if anybody would ever, when they talk about me, say Caleb has his groove. So
yes.
Can you help people like me too?
Absolutely. So what we try to focus on is, now it's not just seniors.
Okay.
We are open to everyone. If you would like to help and join the programs, we're open to everyone. But what we try to do is focus on the mental and physical health of seniors in the community by connecting them to their community. Because, seniors are oftentimes overlooked and forgotten about, and it's like they're a different subset of humanity all of a sudden. You turn 65 and you grow hooves and horns and just get them away.
Right,
and
right.
No, you're no different than you were when you were in your 30s or 40s. You're just older.
And moving a little bit slower, but still moving, huh?
That's right.
Well, and I kind of like the where you're going with that because, I started going back to jiu-jitsu here at 43 years old, and I realized very quickly that I wasn't 20 when I got out there.
Yes.
And, but then I look at like my father and stuff like that, and he's starting to slow down a little bit, and that mobility, and I think holding on to your mobility and staying active as you get older is just huge. And
absolutely.
And and mentally as well, and keeping yourself engaged in the community. Because
that's right.
You're right. I could see myself very easily becoming that grumpy old man that just, walked off and sat on my front porch and yelled at everybody walking across my grass. And I could see that happening very quickly. And
but
so
if that makes you happy,
but
I
think I would be more happy in my community. Being with others, and iron sharpens iron, and so I could be out there with the other seniors, and maybe we could get together and yell at the young whippersnappers together, and we could. There's more power to several of us yelling, "Stay off my lawn!"
My lawn. Yes, I actually have an event that I am working on that is exactly what you were just talking about.
You have my attention. Talk to me.
I was taking a shower, and you know how your thoughts tend to wander in the shower.
I do my best thinking in the shower some days. Yes, ma'am.
Shower thoughts.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly. So all of a sudden it came to me. I want to throw a get off my lawn party.
I was totally joking. I didn't even know. That's so funny. Go on.
Yes, I thought that would be a really good way to break the ice and, have people come out, have a little fun, have a few laughs. Get the seniors, out of their assisted living facilities. Get the seniors and just involved with everybody. Because I actually I'm working with Parks and Rec, and
Great.
They asked me to design programs for seniors. Because we all know that Victoria as a community is very focused on the youth, which is amazing. Because building a good, strong foundation for our young people, there's nothing more important.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we want to teach the young people empathy and compassion for the elderly. And that's very important, but there aren't very many programs for seniors. So what I did as an organization is I started with building an army of people to work with. That I wanted to go into the community and ask the seniors, what do you like to do? What events would you like to see? What makes you laugh? What makes you happy? What makes you want to, come out of your chair and get your groove back? And so we're trying to design programs that we think might be interesting for them. Like, okay, for instance, what you were talking about, jujitsu. We have a person named Brandy Bratton at the Cryo Depot who wants to do senior yoga. So we're going to see if there's any seniors interested in doing senior yoga, which is free for them. They will be sponsored. The classes will be sponsored. It will be free for seniors. And so we also have art classes going on, all kinds of things, field trips to the farmer's market. Brenda at the, oh gosh, I can't remember where it was, but her name is Brenda Talley, and she owns a dance studio.
Yes, ma'am.
And she wants to, involve seniors in her TikTok dances. Every week she learns a new TikTok dance with her students. And so we would love to get seniors in there and pair them with the youth of Victoria who are also learning how to dance.
I love the idea. I love the concept of young and old coming together on things. That's spectacular. And I will tell you, I'm also very well aware of Brandy Bratton because she was my strength and conditioning coach when I did my
amazing,
when I did my jiu-jitsu. In fact, our very first episode of Meet Victoria was on Cryo Depot. They let me get in there and get my feet wet because I'd never done one before, and so they let us get the growing pains out and learn on them. But no, she trained me for my first jiu-jitsu tournament, and she got me ready, and
she is the most amazing person.
Yeah, she was good, and so she'll do great with those seniors, and I love the concept. I just, how cool to go from yoga, and I love the idea of the dance studio, of getting them out there. And
can you imagine a 70-year-old learning a TikTok dance?
I think it's a great idea, because it gets them out, it gets them moving, but I love the idea of how you're going to different places in the community and bringing us all together.
I'm trying to build an arsenal is what I'm basically doing.
Well, I think your timing is great on that because anybody that's watched the show recently has heard me really harping on this. It seems like everybody in the community, a lot of different small businesses and groups and organizations, like previously I would say in years past, everybody kind of had their head down and went their own direction.
Yes,
it felt
exactly.
Like. But now everybody is like, hey, well, why don't we get together and we'll grab them and we'll pull them in from over here. And you got Brandy and Brenda and all these different people helping each other, and to me, your foundation grows so much more, and your base. That's what I actually wanted to
mention, because the reason that I was able to be so successful in such a short time is through the Innovation Collective.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is the most important group that I have ever been involved with.
Wonderful.
And they have helped me every step of the way. I had an idea, I brought it to Coffee and Concepts, and they helped me every single step of the way. And it's just a bunch of business owners, entrepreneurs, anybody who has a connection that can help you. We all come together as a group and help each other to help our community grow.
Outstanding. I know Carissa Winters has been a great spokesperson on that, and she's been on the show several times. And,
yes.
But it excites me. I really enjoy seeing everybody doing that. I talk too much, so let me loop you back around. This Wednesday, you've got a little event coming up this Wednesday, June 29th at 9:30 at the Community Center Annex. Tell me about that, please.
Okay, well, at 9:30 at the Community Center Annex, we are having a health fair. We are starting with the health fair at 9:30, and it's vendors from all over Victoria, even some from Goliad, displaying their wares, or if they have a home health service, a hospice, anything that you think that seniors would be interested in, but even selling your arts and crafts. We have people who make homemade jams and jellies. We even have a taxidermist.
Outstanding. I think that sounds spectacular. For those that want to follow you or get more information, where can they find your page, or how can they reach out and get in touch with you? Oh gosh,
I'm everywhere. On Facebook, I am Jayme Dolan, JaymeDolan. On Instagram, it is Golden Groove Experience.
Roger that.
Yes.
Well, young lady, I had a ton of fun. Thank you so much. Guys, make sure you get out there this Wednesday, Community Center Annex at 0930. Bingo Health Fair. It'll be a good time. Golden Groove, reach out to them and let us know about that Get Off My Lawn party, because that just sounds, that great minds think alike. Good one. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Hey, Hey, I'm Cindy Staley, and today we're doing something really fun. We've got studs that our community has purchased and sponsored, and they've written their names on them. This is something that we want you to participate in with us. Our studs cost us $8 a piece now, but you can be a sponsor for just $100 a stud. It's really a way for you to partner with our families, but when they walk in and they know that the community has partnered with them, it makes all the difference in the world. Please join us, won't you?
Guys, we are back and we've got another new guest to the show that I'm really excited about. But I owe her a debt of gratitude and thank you. We had a last minute cancellation on the show this morning and she jumped in and said, I will come on and I will save the day, and you have. And so thank you so much for jumping in here with no warning and coming to save us. So
my pleasure.
For the ones that don't know you, please introduce yourself since you saved us today. They deserve to know who you are.
So my name is Lisa Ruiz. I own a small business called So Be It. We specialize in alterations and seamstressing and all that fun stuff. I'm here on behalf of Crossroads Art House today because we're putting together something for a fashion show, which is actually, that one doesn't happen until August 6th. But this coming up Sunday, July 2nd, we're actually putting together a meet the designer kind of thing. And it's supposed to be open to the public. It's going to be from 12 to 8. It's an 8-hour event, so not all the designers will be there the full 8 hours. It's kind of going to be in and out, come and go, yeah. But it gives the community an opportunity to come in and see what we're doing, what we're working on, and why this is important to the community in terms of the arts community. And it's going to be a fun thing, and a lot of the community members didn't even know that we had local designers, fashion designers, that we had these types of things here, these types of people here.
Well, no, that's a great point, because when we started talking, I was one of those people, and you had mentioned a young lady, for example, out of Pour the Vodka that just started a swimsuit line and
Yes.
and things, and I think that's really neat in itself that you're finding local talent, for lack of better words, because I don't know the right, seamstress. What do you call it?
Seamstress.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know the clothing
Fashion
industry, so the people that designers,
yes.
And so I think it's really neat that you're pulling on local designers and local talent here to lift them up and kind of all join forces and come out, and because I didn't even know we had people locally doing stuff like that. And so I think it's really neat to lift up our local talent and get a chance to go out and meet them.
Yes, and that's what this is. It's about connecting people. So one of the big things, just to kind of jump forward a little bit for the fashion show in August, one of the big things for that event is to connect people, kind of connect the dots in that sense, because some of the fashion boutiques will be out there and they're going to be showcasing their products and stuff like that, which that's ready to wear. That's already designed, it's already made, and it's ready to wear. So they're just going to sell it. But then you have these fashion designers that come in, and we don't see any of their pieces, their merchandise, their garments in any of these local vendors, like these local brick and mortars.
Right.
So the idea is to connect those dots and to get those fashion designers connected with the local boutique owners, so they can put up a rack of local fashion designers and pieces and just kind of help them build their brand, while they're also helping the boutique owners put local merchandise in their shops.
Everybody just helping everybody, huh?
Pretty much.
It just like with our last guest, this just feeds what I see growing on in the community of everybody lifting each other up. And I think coming out of things, like COVID and all of that stuff, that things like this are needed right now, where, we're all going through some type of hardship. We're all kind of readjusting and realigning to this strange new world we find ourselves in and all this. But I have just been so blown away by the fact that coming out of all this, everybody just seems to be working together. And I think it's so neat that here you are trying to connect these dots, as you put it, and bring all of these people together for the good of the community, for the good of the area, the Crossroads area. And it I'll say this. When I was young, I like acting. I like all this stuff. And my high school counselor, my senior year when I was getting ready to graduate, said, what do you want to do when you graduate? And I said, I want to be an actor. And she said, well, that's unrealistic. What else do you want to do? And it just kind of crushed me, And it was
kind
like,
of a blow to the
yeah,
gut.
It sucked,
like,
right? I mean, here
yank
I'm
my heart out of my
23 and I still think about that, But I like that you guys are empowering people, that you're saying like, hey, you've got this passion, you've got this drive. Let's see what we can do to help you show it to the world and show it to your community, because everybody focuses on outside and being out there, but it's the community where it really starts,
Yes.
And again, to see you all, so many different businesses coming together for a common good to lift each other up, to me is just spectacular.
Well, I think it's meant to be in a lot of ways, because you think in terms of synergy. For instance, your last guest, bumped into her. Now I want to organize a senior sewing event with her. Let's get it together. Neat? Yeah. So, and then you have another gentleman here too, and he's, I don't want to give up his spot.
You let him run.
But,
we got a good one coming.
Yes, it's a good one coming. And I have somebody that I want to connect him with, because it's going to benefit. It's a great way to, let's do this thing. One of our designers focuses on that type of fashion, and it's just a great way to kind of build.
And that's been one of my favorite things about this show, is actually watching what happens in the green room, because all the guests sitting out there, there's all sorts of, well, let me help you with this, and well, I got you here, and it just, you guys walked in strong and you walked out even stronger, and I think it's spectacular. Before we wrap this though, we breezed right by your company. You saved me, so I'd like to hear a little bit about your sewing company, if you would. Because I always need some alteration. I may or may not fluctuate in my waist size sometimes and things like that, so I might need to come see you to get some let out space. But tell me a little bit about your personal company.
Well, no, you're on BJJ now, so I may have to take it in.
I
may have to take it in.
Or
see?
loosen it for these muscles.
There you go. That's guns.
So, that's right. I stuffed some padding in there and made me look good. We'll talk after. But tell me a little bit about your business real quick, and for those that don't know.
So I'm actually I've done a little bit of everything, from hemming pants, hemming blue jeans. I have bridal parties come my way, groomsmen parties come my way. So I do a little bit of everything, but I'm actually going to start tightening the belt on that, and I'm only going to focus on bridal alterations, which is pretty much my bread and butter, but it also takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of time, and with all the seamstresses and alterationists in town, whatever comes my way that I'm no longer taking, I'm going to throw it their way. Because we actually have way more than people realize. They just don't have strong online presence, and the reason being is because they get so inundated. So, and it happens so quickly, because you'd be surprised at how many people need changes to their garments, and it just makes more sense to do it that way than to go out and buy a whole new garment.
Oh, I agree, because every time I try to, once or twice a year, I try to put on my suit or something, I swear people are jacking with me and like swap it out and put my little coats in there and stuff. Like I put it on there's no way I wore this last month, and so I may need you on speed dial to save me so I don't walk out.
I just got a mental image of
fat
guy.
And I'm telling you, like I walk out and my wife starts laughing. She's like, no, you're not wearing that, And so before we wrap this up, how can people, if they want to know about this Meet Designer event, how can they find it? Where's the info? If they have questions, how can they get all this information?
So there's not an event page up for it yet, but they can go to Crossroads Art House, which is Claire Santana.
Yes, ma'am.
And then they can go there, and she has a list of anything that she's involved with. She has a list of events.
Gotcha.
So that's the primary source. They can probably go to the So Be It page on Facebook as well. Our central hub is Facebook.
Roger that. Well, again, I thank you so much for jumping in and saving us
this
morning.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
It's always holy crap, we're guest short, and so you jumped in and you saved us. Thank you so much. Anything I'm forgetting before I let you go?
No, I think we covered all the bases.
Good deal. Well, thank you so much for all you're doing. Thanks for what you will be doing in the community. I think it's awesome, and I'll come see you next time, a fat guy in my jacket, and I'll come have you save me. Let's take a quick commercial break, guys, and we'll be right back.
Since 1932, Wallach & Volk has been closing mortgages and doing it the right way. The reason why the Volks opened up a bank at the height of the Great Depression was because the bank needed to be opened at the height of the Great Depression. And it was good for the community at that time. A lot of the banks were going under. In order to keep that community sound and stable, it was something that they did. I think that says something about who Wallach & Volk was 85 years ago. And the only way you get to continue to do it is if you consistently do it great. And we plan on doing this for another 85 years.
Marketing today can be complex. Emails, customer relationship management, lead tracking, landing pages, and text messaging. But what if you could do it all with just one tool? And what if there was an agency behind the solution that could do it with you, or better yet, do it for you? Introducing Thrive Fuel 360, the new do-it-for-you digital marketing solution. Drive leads, nurture prospects, automate follow-up, connect with your audience, and book appointments all in one place. Thrive Fuel 360.
We can't believe it. We're still overstocked on bedding, recliners, sofas, even sectionals. It's happening right now at Cayman Furniture. Buy it today and have it delivered today.
And you thought I was kidding. Buy it today and we'll have it in your home tonight.
All right, guys, welcome back. We got some guys here that I'm always happy to be with. My veteran community here. Appreciate them as always, because the veterans are the ones that sign that blank check, and they don't know if they're coming home or not, but they do it because of what's behind them and the country, and they do it for the right reasons to protect and serve our nation. And so we're always very grateful for our veterans. But without further ado, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourselves and let them know who you are here with.
My name's Nick Mateo, and I'm a member of the Bad News Chairs.
Gotcha.
My name is Eugene Gonzalez. I'm also a member of the Victoria Bad News Chair since 2015.
Outstanding. Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for being out there and helping others and serving others and finding a fun way to help others and to get mobile. But I'd like to know a little bit about what brought you to this point. You know, I'm sure you didn't just wake up super able-bodied and decide to go start a basketball, wheelchair basketball league and all that. And so I'd kind of like to know what led up to this point, and then how you use this as a positive and to help and serve others. And if you want to start with your story, and then we'll work our way across. Tell me a little bit about yourself, man.
I was in the Army for 10 years, joined in 2004, was retired in 2014, and I got exposed to something downrange during my second tour. And when I came home, I got sick around 2011, ended up in a wheelchair by 2012. I was at Fort Bragg at the WTU there. And I went from a manual chair like that to a power chair. I met my wife in 2015, and I ended up to the point where I needed help drinking and feeding myself. And I was diagnosed with lupus of the spine and the brain. Now, in 2019, I had a surgery where I have an infusion pump in my spinal cord. I get baclofen and fentanyl 24 hours a day for it. In that recovery, I was able to regain my stamina, I was able to lose weight, I was able to get out, move some more. I got introduced to adaptive sports in 2013 with cycling. And then around 2018, 2019, I got introduced to wheelchair sports. Started with wheelchair softball and then basketball, and now I play tennis up at University of Houston. But my go-to adaptive sport is hand cycling, and I hand cycle with Wounded Warrior Project. I'm also a peer mentor with Wounded Warrior Project. But before, I could barely hold my first daughter in 2018, and now I'm able to run around with my kids.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I had no idea when you walked in here that you had that story, because you're a strong-looking dude. You know, you walk in here and you're a strong-looking guy, and I never would have known such thing. And how important was the strong mental mindset of going through? Because I have, if I have a bad day some days, or I catch too many red lights, or you name it, I start feeling sorry for myself, and life is so bad with all my first world problems, and all this. How do you take things where you go from being in the Army, a soldier, to now you're wheelchair? I know that there has to be some mental, battles there. Mm-hmm. What brought you out the other side and gave you the strength to come out the other side, but also to take that and apply it to help others that are struggling with what you may have?
Meeting my spouse was a night and day type of experience. She's very optimistic and very positive, and I was to a point where I didn't want to live. And between her and meeting other people who are like-minded, who are dealing with the same type of disabilities or worse, seeing how they're able to cope and improvise and modify their life and still go, gave me a positive outlook on life, plus therapy and medication and everything else. But it was mostly the people around me and learning how to trust people and knowing that I'm not alone, which has helped me with accepting that life isn't as bad as I think it is, you know. So I
You're
try
the
to
victim
have,
if you choose to be.
right, you know, and I've used my struggles, even though I have my bad days, I've used my struggles to understand that life gets better over time, even when you have bad days.
Yes, sir.
So-
Yes, sir. My friend, a little bit about your story, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, sir. My name is Eugene Gonzalez. It all started back in 2012 when I got into my vehicle accident, became paralyzed from the L1 and L2 vertebrae. It wasn't until a couple of years later, till almost 2014, when I met our coach. His name is Daniel Camacho. The day that I met Daniel Camacho was the day that my entire life changed, because he invited me to go out and play some wheelchair softball, and I didn't want to go. I was shy, I was embarrassed, I was kind of anxious. But once I got out there and got to meet Otis and Billy and Trey and Danny, Nick, myself, and everybody else, all those feelings went away. Now, what I mean by it changed my life was I didn't know that you could still work, you could get a vehicle, you could go out, you could do things that you wanted to do, and that there were other people just like you. Mm-hmm. It was real nice to meet that group of guys because they're like family now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I, like everybody else said, I kind of have my bad days and good days, but it's like Nick just said, if you let it be a bad day, it will get to you sometimes, but it's better to not let that happen. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned. And in coming to do that, what I do now is I work with the team, and I'm in the process of starting to make aluminum wheelchairs for some of the team members and other people, especially veterans like yourself and Nick, just because, you know, it's a nice thing to do, and I really enjoy it. Other than that, like I say, we started back in 2015 as the Victoria Bad News Chairs. Our coach Daniel Camacho was the one who got everybody together, and it was really nice because we're all the same. Maybe a little different, but we're all going through the same thing. Mm-hmm. And it was nice to have that group, that support group. And we go out together, we go out to eat after practice, we do all kinds of stuff together. And that's one of the reasons why we're having this softball tournament.
Fellas, I think it's awesome because a lot of times, as men, I think we let our machismo and everything, our pride, all these other things, we get inside our own heads on stuff, and often asking for help is the hardest thing because we feel like we're supposed to help others and we're the ones that are supposed. So if we fall or we have a tragedy or any of these things, a lot of the times we can lose our sense of worth or responsibility or accountability, any of those things. You pick it, you start spiraling and you go downhill and but what's so neat about this is when I meet you gentlemen who you've had that moment when you met somebody that changed, or when you met your wife, or when you were tired of being a victim, and it's like, I got dealt some crappy cards here, but you know what? We can keep playing the game and we can play to win, and we can help others that may have been dealt the crappy cards, and the ones that I've met in you all's community in the adaptive sports and just in general, their willingness to help others and their want and desire to help others to live higher quality of life and find more worth in themselves. That's what is the neatest thing about you all is I kind of got to pull your stories out of you because all you want to do is help others and serve others, and I commend you on that, and these events that and they need to go see your sports too because
it's fun. Right. It's very fun.
We're still one of these days we're going to go film with you all, and I'm fully expecting a full-on butt whooping to come my way when I go out there because I've watched you guys play and it's no joke,
Yeah.
and you guys get pretty wild out there. And
we actually had a gentleman from the Victoria Advocate come out to one of our basketball practices last year, and he'd never been in a sport wheelchair. And he was in it in 5 minutes, and he said, "I'm done."
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I'll be just right there with him. I have a feeling, but I want to commend you all because my favorite part of what you're doing is that you're helping, and that's we're stronger together, and you're giving. These are people that'll oftentimes were willing to lay their lives down, and they come home broken, and they get an opportunity to not only heal themselves but others, you know. And so, great job on that. Now that I've talked for 2 hours here, I apologize. You guys have an event coming up this Saturday and Sunday, July 2nd and July 3rd, the 5th annual Crossroads Wheelchair Softball Classic 2022. Talk to me about this. Walk me through it. Just give me all the details here, my brother.
All right. For the 5th annual softball classic, we are going to be off of Vine Street. It's called the CADC field. That stands for
I don't know what it stands for.
CADC, Challenge Athletes Dream Complex.
There you go. Work.
That is a field that is a baseball field, but it doesn't have dirt or grass. It's like a rubber mat, and it allows people who are in wheelchairs to get out there in their wheelchairs and not have to worry about hitting a pothole or anything like that.
And this is on Vine?
Yes.
Huh.
And we're not the only ones that use it. There's kids that have disabilities who are in elementary school, middle school, high school. Anybody that has spina bifida or amputated leg or missing arm or anything, that dream complex was built for that group of disabled people in Victoria. And it's really nice. We love it there. I mean, we're actually looking into making an inside facility, but that's just later on down the road. Working with the Parks and Recreation to see about getting that started. And yes, you're right. We are going to have it on July the 2nd, Saturday, and then July the 3rd, the Sunday right before 4th of July. Now, day one, our opening ceremony start about 8:45. We're going to have somebody sing the national anthem. We're going to have the veterans give salute the flags. And then we actually, after that, that's when we start the games. And the games come and start at 9 a.m. all the way up until about 12 o'clock. And then from 12 to 1, we have a lunch break. Then at 1, this is neat. We've worked with the Parks and Recreation in order to take a heat break, and what they're gonna allow us to do is turn on the stadium lights. And we're gonna have a break from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. That way we're not playing out in the middle of the day. Anybody get a heat exhaustion or have to go to the hospital or anything like that?
Because the wheels will melt out there. It's too hot, man. It's hot.
Our coach, that happened too. So we worked with the Parks and Rec, and they were allowed us to get the fee taken care of so that we can get those stadium lights turned on. So then once we come back from that break at 5 o'clock, we're going to have the game. Whenever we come back, it's going to start at 6, and then it's going to go all the way up until about 9:20. And that will be the end of the first day. Then what we're also going to do is we'll meet at the hotel or go out to eat or do whatever we're going to do after that. And then when we come back on Sunday, that's when everybody plays the finals, you know, this team versus this team, because after that, whenever we come back on Sunday, about the same time is when we're going to stop is around 12, and then we're going to have another lunch break, and then afterwards is when we hand out trophies, t-shirts, any little gift bags or anything like that we have for each other. And enough so if you need to network, if you meet somebody, you know, you can all meet, talk to each other, because we're having teams from San Antonio, Houston, us here in Victoria, and they're also athletes that are on these teams that don't live in the city, but they've come because they know other people through networking that'll come and play. So we're having people that are not all in our team that are going to be coming to play with us. So that is the schedule for the 2nd and the 3rd, the Saturday and Sunday right before July 4th.
Awesome. So for ones that want to catch, you know, look up this information or maybe see actual, you know, different times or stuff, where can they find all this? Where are you guys, where's all this information located?
We have the biggest, easiest way to do it is, of course, Facebook. If anybody will type in their search bar, Victoria Bad News Chairs, you'll come up with our page, and you'll be able to get a hold of me, Nick, any of the other teammates, or again, Daniel Camacho, which is our coach. All you do is ask for a simple invite, and then we accept you, and then you're part of the group on that web page. So that's one of the Facebook is awesome for being able to network like that, because we do Messenger and all that other stuff for everything. Different people everywhere. It's crazy, but it's nice. For all around, all the parts of Texas can get involved. So that's what we like. We're just not making it for just Victoria.
Got it. Awesome.
There will be 28 sponsors there. large businesses, medium businesses to small businesses, between restaurants, dealerships, retail shops, the city, like he was saying, on the Facebook page, you can go to events, and there will be a flyer there on this specific event with the times and location.
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks for sharing your stories. Thanks for lifting up others, and just thanks for pushing things forward and iron sharpening iron. And you guys, you know, it still matters, you know,
Yes, exactly.
and we, you know, I would argue that it matters more when we come home, how we take care of each other, you know, and because overseas and stuff, we got our buddies there, we got everything, you know. It's when we come home that they scatter us, and we don't have those same circles and networks and friends, but we do. We just got to go find them and make those new friends and stuff. So thank you guys for both what you're doing. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you support our sponsors. Go to these great events. And guys, we will see you next week at the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in to Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. Make sure you comment down below, like the post, share the post. It really helps the algorithms. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. And if you have an event coming on you want featured on Victoria Events, shoot us a message. We'd love to help you get the word out there. Lastly, make sure you support our sponsors. We could not do this show without them, so we're very grateful. Thanks so much, Victoria, and we'll see you at the next one.